This is V from a Canadian RVer. Where I am today is the Valiant Air Command Warbird Museum. And where they're located is they're just a few minutes west of Kennedy Space Center at the Space Coast Regional Airport, Valiant Air Command. Warbird museums offer a unique view of aviation history, staffed and operated almost entirely by volunteers. Now when you enter, the first thing you will see is a Wildcat. Now the Wildcat had all kinds of various variations to the aircraft, and of course this being a restoration museum, there's all kinds of engines to look at that they removed from aircraft. And another look at the Wildcat. Now this part of the museum, they call it the Memorabilia Hall, and in this area there's everything from World War I to World War II, and there was everything to look at, all in the displays. They had uniforms, they had patches, and here is the uniforms of the different wars. Here's a display of all the different patches of the various wars. A flag that's been folded and displayed properly. Another flight jacket. Another look at the Wildcat from the tails. And you can see how the wings were all folded up to be stored on an aircraft carrier. The museum displays and maintains and restores all types of aircraft that were used by the World Armed Forces starting with World War I to the present. Here's a replica. And the next thing I come up to is a Japanese flight jacket that they used to use from World War II. Various medals that were decorated. There was so many things to see here that I wanted to capture everything in the video. Another flight jacket. Another replica of the Fireball. Some more flight jackets. Now here is radio equipment that they used to use in the Second World War, and that was pretty cool to see all the different equipment and how it looked and how it worked. Very nicely laid out. So now where I'm going, this is one of the main hangars of their displays, and they had all kinds of engines, aircraft, and this was one part of the display in the building. And here you see all the old engines that they pulled out of, I guess, restored aircraft, or the aircraft wasn't able to be restored, so they just took the engines out so you can have a look at them. And it was quite amazing to see the different engines and the different time periods. Now what I'm coming up to here, it was really cool to see a 1941 Dodge staff car, a little trainer here. And most of these aircraft were flight worthy, so they didn't really want you to touch them. And this was an L5 Sentinel. Again, another look at the staff car. And right over here, a World War II Jeep. And right here was a very beautiful display of a Blue Angels jet. This was a little tight. What I had to do was actually duck underneath the wing here. And again, all these aircraft were flight worthy, and they were probably used in all kinds of shows. Now they do a few shows every year in this area with a lot of these aircraft. Here was a big turbofan engine with the cowling at the back for more thrust control. A PW100 turbine engine. Here's a look from the backside of the Blue Angels jet. Another old engine. believe what we just saw there was a V25 Mitchell. This is really cool. I just was really taken by the scoops of this jet. And you can imagine how much air must go into these turbines. Good shot of all the hydraulics and cabling and the wheel well. Now what we're looking at here is a UH19B Sikorsky Chickasaw helicopter. A shot of the inside, what it looks like. And now coming around to the front where the turbine engine was mounted, and it was really cool to see how it's right in the front. And you can see who it was donated by, and the year was 2005. Now what we're looking at right here is an F80 T-33 Shooting Star. And you can see the names were almost there from the movie. A very nice paint job on this as I come around on the other side here, and you can see where it was all painted beautifully with Miss America. A T-33 Shooting Star. Now here was a very interesting plane. This is a Russian MiG. A MiG-17 Fesco. Another look at the Russian MiG. Now the next plane that we're coming up to is an F86F Sabre. And again, this aircraft was flight worthy, so they did have signs on it that they didn't want anyone to be touching the aircraft. Again, another look at the hydraulics and all the mechanics. And this looked like it could have been a spoiler on the back when they land. Now the aircraft that we're looking at right here is an SVD-5N Dauntless, and this aircraft too was recovered from the bottom of Lake Michigan, and you'll see where on the plaque it'll say that coming up in just a minute. Now if you watch the movie Midway, this is the exact aircraft that they used in the movie also. And they do have a little sign here on the side. As I come around, you'll see it. But it was an amazing aircraft, and how it was restored with all its machine guns. And right there we're seeing I guess a poster from Midway, the movie. And the spoilers really look kind of different here with holes drilled in them. Now what we're coming up to is really neat here, and this was a replica, and I believe it was flight worthy, of the Fokker DR-1 Red Baron from World War I. Really nice to see. This is V from A Canadian RVer. This is part 1 of our video. Thank you for watching, but if you'd like to see the full tour of the museum that I did, it gets quite interesting in the second part of the hangar. So we'll put a link in the description for the part 2 video. Now we're walking out to the far hangar, which is the second part of our video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in part 2.